Okay, now that it's 3:03 as promised, I'll get started. Again, thank you everyone for coming out today and for attending this SOP workshop. My name is Aline. I'm a second-year education sciences major, and I'm one of the student advisors at SOP. So I'll be giving this workshop on behalf of our office today. So a quick note, just this presentation will be about an hour long, probably less, but our recording will be posted on our website in the next few weeks. But in case there are any awkward lags, I apologize because I'll be admitting people from the waiting room throughout the meeting. Okay, so I'll do my best to go over our services and answer any questions that you may ask by typing in the chat. So while I'm admitting people into the meeting, I will also be checking chat periodically. If I don't get to it quickly, I apologize. And with that, we can get started. So this presentation will introduce you to resources that you can use to identify suitable scholarships and create a year-by-year plan for your academic success. You're surrounded by a network of support, including the Office of Financial Aid, the Writing Center, and us, SOP. So you should familiarize yourself with the mission and services of each of these programs above. A common misunderstanding we get is that students send emails to our inbox asking questions that are related to the Office of Financial Aid. For example, recently that office was in charge of the UCI scholarships. And you should know that SOP is not in charge of those. We advise students for the 21 prestigious scholarships that are all external, so UCI does not award them. Our office simply helps you apply to them. The roles and services of the SOP encompass three broad categories: outreach, advising, and recognition. Under the Office of the Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning and the Division of Undergrad Education, we support high-achieving undergraduates from sophomore year to the year after graduation. We encourage students to develop self-awareness, take strategic risks, and compete for these prestigious awards. SOP informs UCI undergraduate students of our 21 supported awards through various outreach efforts, such as this one, including targeted emails, workshops, class visits, and drop-in consultations, all of which are online during COVID pandemic. By providing our students with strategic and personalized advising, feedback on essay and application drafts, access to past winning applications, and mock interviews to prepare candidates, we guide you through a process of goal setting and self-discovery to strengthen your rhetorical skills for essays and interviews. And for those awards that require campus endorsement or nomination, SOP is in charge of basically saying UCI officially endorses you for this scholarship, and it makes your application look a lot stronger. The Vice Provost manages that process, including convening the faculty review committee, conducting interviews, providing feedback, and writing endorsement letters that will accompany your application. So these are the 21 awards that we advise for, and they're divided into two application cycles. Here you can see the Explorers 11 cycle, which begins with pre-apps in October and November. Then after working with advisors for 3 to 4 months, applications are submitted to the external scholarship agency in winter quarter. So that's happening right now as we speak. The Explorers 11 group includes all of our undergrad scholarships, as well as 2 one-year internships for graduating seniors, the California Capitol Fellows Policy Fellowship Program in the executive, legislative, and judicial branches, and the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace Junior Fellows Research Program in Social Sciences and Foreign Affairs. In April, which is coming up soon, juniors, seniors, and recent graduates can submit pre-apps for the Trailblazers 10 advising. There are 10 awards that you can use after graduation in the US or abroad. And our most popular scholarship, the Fulbright program, includes the English Teaching Assistantship, the Binational Business Internship, and the Traditional Study/Research Grant. Students work intensively with our SOP staff and writing specialists over the summer, and applications are submitted to external scholarship agencies in early fall. Italicized awards require or strongly encourage campus evaluation and endorsement of enrolled undergrad applicants. So that means that you will have to go through that interview process to be officially endorsed by our office. Winners and finalists include these highly recognizable awards on their resumes for the rest of their lives. One component of UCI's national rankings is how many of these prestigious scholarships our students win. So that is why our offices exist, to boost those numbers. But they're not just about the money, they're also about personal development. Students grow a great deal through the process of applying, and even those who do not win will learn strategies that help them get placed in top graduate schools and enter into excellent careers or internships. For example, a student recently applied to the Fulbright in the UK. Although he didn't win it, he formed faculty connections at his top choice graduate school in the UK and planned a strong graduate research project through our application process. Eventually, he was admitted to the program and found external funding to study abroad in the UK. These scholarships are a very long process, I will not lie to you, but our office guides you throughout the entire process. So our primary advisors and student advisors serve as a guide in order for you to develop lifelong skills. In phase 1 exploration, prospective scholarship candidates, so you, will use pre-writing activities to uncover insights about scholarships and themselves that you can use to develop a game plan. And then in the mapping phase, potential applicants connect their insights and goals to the application requirements for a specific scholarship. In the trailblazing phase, candidates will develop and refine a unique approach to the writing prompts for the scholarship, and a primary advisor provides comprehensive feedback to support your revisions. Our primary advisors and student advisors give general feedback. They will let you know if you're missing important components to your application process and what you should be focusing on in terms of topics. But the writing specialists in the other office are the people who really get into the nitty-gritty, things like spelling, grammar, syntax, stuff like that. In the climbing phase, candidates demonstrate growth and share their new perspective with informed experts at a campus endorsement interview, which I mentioned earlier. And then finally, you will finalize your narrative and complete your journey by submitting the materials to the scholarship agency. So this fall, SOP launched a new online course for potential prestigious scholarship applicants called SOP-PREP. This valuable resource supports sophomores to recent graduates in developing self-awareness of their intellectual and practical leadership values and goals. During the exploration phase, you will complete journal assignments that target specific learning objectives. You'll learn to describe models of intellectual and practical leadership, articulate discipline-specific educational goals and match them with key resources, and draft a time management plan. Our student advisors provide personalized feedback and encouragement on journal entries. So once you submit one and it's on your own pace, I, for example, will give you feedback so that you can improve on your next one and so forth. Then you will finally write a vision statement for future original contributions, take a virtual advisor quiz at the end on Qualtrics to match you with the suitable scholarships fit for you, and finally have a personalized advising consultation with a student advisor like me who'll help you get started on the pre-application forms. So this is something that you should be starting soon if you are interested in this year's Trailblazers 10 process, which starts in April. Now, this course is intended for UCI undergraduate students with sophomore or higher standing and a cumulative GPA of at least 3.0. Recent UCI graduates can participate if you're within 4 quarters from graduation. It's open entry, open exit, so you don't need permission to enroll or withdraw, and the instructions for enrollment are on our SOP website, which I will link in the chat later. The course does not provide any academic credit. It's not through UCI, so you don't get units for it. We hope to inspire undergraduates to get started with graduate school and career planning, as well as encourage building relationships with our advising team in the remote learning environment. So right here is a screenshot that I took from our actual Canvas course space, and there's really only 4 journal entries where you're writing a written response that's 300 words, give or take. Then the journal number 5 is just a virtual the virtual advisor quiz results, which don't require any writing. And after that, you will finally book your advising appointment with one of our student advisors. And you can do it on your own time. As I said before, you can take breaks or do it all at once. It's up to you. The first thing that many students ask us is for a checklist of things that they should do to become a winner. Unfortunately, there is no list of prerequisites that every scholarship applicant must complete. Any recipe or formula that advisors try to impose will eventually become stale and unoriginal and fail to impress scholarship review committees. They don't want a bunch of applicants who, look the same on paper. But there are some trends among our winners that we hope will inspire you. Our winners customized their academic and extracurricular plans according to their own passions and seized opportunities to reflect and revise as they went along. Our winners took risks and initiated action, but they did so strategically and with due consideration of consequences. They saw failures as opportunities for growth, developing resilience and flexibility. Through working with our advisors and writing specialists, they learned to articulate their ambitions and created narratives of progressive success. The following stories, so case studies that I will be showing in a few seconds, will illuminate how recent winners went beyond the basic requirements for completion of a degree and used education as a tool to foster collaboration around their shared goals and values. So the first one is the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship, so NSF. It funds 3 years of graduate study in the sciences or in engineering, leading to an MS or Ph.D. in mathematics, physical and biological sciences, most social sciences, and the history and philosophy of science. Applicants are generally seniors of first generation graduate students who are US citizens or permanent residents. Competitive candidates have at least a 3.5 GPA and significant undergraduate research experience. Writing a proposal for Europe funding can help to prepare you to write the NSF research essay. So if you're already involved in research at UCI, this is a potential scholarship for you that you'd be fit for. Virtually all NSF recipients intend to obtain a PhD as their degree objective. Nationally, up to 1,500 to 2,000 NSF grants are awarded annually. So our first case study is Mohammed, who was born to Palestinian refugee parents in the UAE. After many years of worry about deportation and observing his own family members in refugee camps with inadequate healthcare services, he and his family finally immigrated to the US. Beginning his undergrad studies at Irvine Valley College, Mohammed initially planned to become a medical doctor, but after transferring to UCI, he decided to major in biomedical engineering and engaged in research, including a project that aimed to build air-powered computers for use in health diagnostic devices in the developing world. In 2013, President Obama launched the multi-billion-dollar BRAIN initiative to drive research to improve tools for studying the brain. Mohammed's research for this initiative aimed to develop a device that uses light to study the brain non-invasively. As a graduating senior, he worked closely with faculty mentors on scholarship applications. Incredibly, he won both NSF and Soros fellowships. So those are 2 different scholarships that we advise for to fund his grad study at Caltech. After completing his PhD in bioengineering, Mohammed intends to become a research professor and develop tools to enhance our understanding of brain circuitry and improve treatment of neurological disorders. The second case study is Kim Mai, who was a 5th-year biomedical engineering major with a minor in material science engineering. She's the daughter of Vietnamese refugees and the first in her family to be born in the US and to pursue a PhD. Kimai worked with K-12 community college and incoming UCI students all through college and is passionate about outreach, diversity, and inclusion in STEM. She's been doing research on understanding the role of epigenetic mechanisms in brain and cardiac cell development in Dr. Tim Downing's lab. Kimai plans to continue doing research in regenerative medicine as she pursues her Ph.D. in bioengineering at Georgia Tech as an NSF fellow. Okay, so the next scholarship I'll be talking about is the Fulbright U.S. Student Program. I mentioned earlier that this is our most popular scholarship that students tend to pursue, and for good reason. It was established by Congress after World War II to promote international understanding, and it is also our most flexible award, offering placement in over 140 countries. Fulbright students conduct independent research, complete a year of grad study, carry out a creative project, or teach English. So you don't have to do all of those things. You can choose one only. You should have at least 1 year of relevant experience, though, for the award type that you pursue. So if you are pursuing a study research grant in another country, you should have some research experience under your belt. If the host country you're interested in uses another language for daily life, you should gain at least intermediate proficiency in that language before you apply. Countries that only require English language skills, such as the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, are especially competitive for that reason. Grants generally provide round-trip transportation, language or orientation courses, tuition, books, a living stipend, and health insurance. Juniors, seniors, and recent alumni who are U.S. citizens are eligible to apply. You should apply 1 year prior to going abroad. There are many winners every year at the undergraduate, graduate, and faculty levels. In fact, we're getting notified right now of them for this cycle. UCI has had 65 undergrad winners and at least 47 faculty winners, including chemistry professor Kenneth Jonda, information and CS professor Magda Zarki, pharmaceutical sciences professor Claudia Benavente, and public health professor Christy Koenig. Now, Alexander is a first-gen adult re-entry transfer student who became a leader on campus, and he'll be our example for Fulbright. He participated in multiple engineering and programming research projects, including a gluten-detecting smartphone device, autonomous search and rescue drones, and sensors to monitor arm injuries and robotic hand responses. He's also a caring individual who worked hard to overcome barriers for disadvantaged and minority youth, including planning mentoring events for the engineering school's Office of Access and Inclusion and mentoring students through the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. He applied for both Fulbright and NSF. He was awarded a Fulbright grant to perform neurosurgical robotics research at the University of Toronto. And while in Canada, Alexander applied for graduate fellowships. After receiving an honorable mention for NSF, he was awarded a National GEM Consortium Fellowship to fund his Ph.D. in mechanical engineering, which he's currently completing at UC Berkeley. A major in chemistry with a concentration in education, Leanne participated in CalTeach as well as the CHC, which many of our scholarship winners do. She served as a teaching fellow at Breakthrough Collaborative in San Juan Capistrano and additionally taught through UCI's Early Academic Outreach program in Compton for 2 summers. As a UC-DC intern, she completed research for the U.S. Department of Education and also wrote an honors thesis on STEM pedagogy in lab environments. After working as a student teacher in Costa Mesa, Leanne traveled to Uruguay to serve as a Fulbright ETA, so an English teaching assistant. After completing her year as a Fulbright scholar, she taught at Portola High School. She's passionate about teaching low-income students in Title I public schools and aims to pursue a master's in education. Now, here's a testimonial from one of our scholarship advisees.
We'll start with the Goldwater. I didn't really think I'd actually win. It was kind of this scholarship that is made for STEM people, and I kind of fit that category. I said, let's give it a shot and see what happens. And obviously through the help of the SOP, it wouldn't have been possible without them. With their help, we actually were able to submit a very strong application. We won the scholarship. So they fill in all the gaps of knowledge that I don't have about how the scholarships and how the fellowships work. They get to know you on a personal level. so that the application can be as strong as possible. They have to know what kind of person I am and what I've done, my accomplishments and things like that, to make the scholarships, the applications, as strong as possible. And they really take the time to do that. Yeah, start early. Don't wait until the third year to kind of start thinking about Churchill and Fulbright. Start in the freshman year, doing extracurricular activities and finding actually what you like. That's kind of the main thing. You don't want to just do a bunch of random extracurriculars just for the sake of a scholarship. But you want to find what you like and start early doing it. Don't wait until the end of the second year and things like that. Earlier start, the better.
In case you wanted any more information on anything I've mentioned so far. Okay, so the Goldwater Scholarship for Excellence in Research funds 1 or 2 years of undergraduate study for students who intend a research career in math, computer science, engineering, the natural sciences, or psychology. Applicants should be sophomores or juniors with 1 to 2 years of undergraduate study remaining and must be U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Sorry, I don't know why it skipped. All right. It's not going to cooperate. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Competitive candidates have at least a 3.7 GPA, so a little bit higher than the other ones, and have already begun undergraduate research. Writing a proposal for UROP funding can help to prepare you to write the Goldwater research essay. Most applicants are preparing to be university professors, but some pursue research and development in industry. Virtually all Goldwater recipients intend to obtain a Ph.D. as their degree in medicine, or as their degree objective. If you're interested in medicine, you must be pursuing it with the intent to research instead of practicing medicine, which means usually seeking an MD or a PhD degree rather than an MD. Nationally, up to 260 Goldwater scholars will be selected to receive awards of $7,500 per year. Our case study, Leandra Jackson, transferred to UCI through the Honors to Honors Transfer Program in the CHC. She participated in summer research projects at Harvard and Yale to gain research experience on cell signaling and translation. Although her research required many hours in the lab, she's well-rounded and demonstrated compassion for others through 7 years of volunteer service in patient care at Mission Hospital. As a junior, she applied through our advising and received the Goldwater Scholarship for Excellence in Research, which propelled her toward completion of her honors thesis on immune system regulation and also toward application to the Gates Cambridge Scholarship to fund a Master of Philosophy in Biosci with a focus on pathology at Cambridge University. Leandra had never been abroad before, and she enjoyed her year very much in the UK. She aimed to understand the molecular mechanisms that influence the development of cancer and create personalized, targeted therapies. She returned to the US to pursue an MD/PhD degree and become a physician scientist. Now, these scholarships are among the most competitive and prestigious graduate scholarships in the world. The oldest prestigious international scholarship, the Rhodes, supports study at Oxford. And by the way, just to note, they do require 5 to 8 letters of recommendation. So if you're interested in Rhodes, you should be planning ahead of time right now. The Gates Cambridge Fund study at Cambridge, obviously, and the Marshall is funded by the British government and supports study at any UK university. A similar award or study in Ireland is called the Mitchell Scholarship, while the Schwarzman Scholars Program supports a unique master's program in global affairs in China. All of these scholarships demand academic excellence and significant achievements in leadership, research, business, or public service. Most recipients planned extremely ambitious careers in public service, such as US President Bill Clinton, Canadian Prime Minister John Turner, and Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, who have all won the Rhodes. The Marshall Scholar alumni include Supreme Court Justices Neil Gorsuch and Stephen Breyer, and even UCI Professor Emeritus of Political Science James Danziger. Gates, Cambridge, and Rhodes are open to international students, if that applies to you. Now, graduate scholarships in the US, we do offer advising for. There are 3 of them that are in the Big Ten workshop or Big Ten pre-application process. But the most popular is NSF, which we talked about earlier. US citizens and permanent residents are eligible to apply to support study in US research-based graduate programs, including all traditional scientific disciplines as well as STEM education, social sciences, and psychology. NSF provides $46,000 for tuition and fees for 3 years, a living stipend, and research-related travel or internship allowances. So they're very generous. Knight Hennessy Scholars funds the top graduate student leaders in any discipline at Stanford University. The Knight Hennessy Scholars Program is intended to develop social change agents with the experience and vision to address global challenges, funding approximately 100 scholars per year who have a record of academic excellence, ambitious goals, and a strong sense of civic duty. So Knight Hennessy is a very competitive program, even though it's relatively new, and they have very small cohorts, but I would say the main takeaway from Knight Hennessy is if you are a big dreamer, then go for it. Now, Soros is awarded by Paul and Daisy Soros and is exclusively for new or first generation Americans, including US citizens, permanent residents, and DACA recipients. But whatever your status, your parents, both of them must have been born outside of the United States. The scholarship supports 2 years of any grad program for top students with a record of impressive achievement and extremely high ambition. And they want to see how you're going to give back as a new American to the younger generation of new Americans. So now that I've gone over a few of the scholarships that are most fit for STEM and natural sciences majors, I can go over the general application components that will apply regardless of which scholarship you decide to pursue. Now, during the advising process of 2 to 6 months, you'll be preparing multiple drafts of scholarship application materials. You can reuse many of the components of your applications in your graduate school applications, as you'll write similar admissions essays. And if you win scholarships, you're also more competitive for grad school placement, of course. Applications usually require 3 or more letters of recommendation, and it can be very difficult to write a strong and detailed letter, so it's critical that you meet with your faculty to discuss your achievements and specific goals. But if one of them seems hesitant or will be abroad with limited internet access, you should probably let them off the hook and ask a different faculty member, because we don't want to risk, your application status due to one faculty member not being able to get a letter in. And if relevant to your scholarship application, you may seek a letter from someone who's not faculty, but has supervised you in public service, work experience, or other leadership positions. So like if you're involved in a club, maybe your club advisor or mentor can write a letter instead. Always provide your letter writers with a copy of your CV or resume, personal statement, and project proposal so that they can include specific details about you and your plans in their letters. When writing a research proposal, formulate an interesting research question, review the relevant literature to convey a deep and nuanced understanding of the topic, and provide details on your approach, methods, data collection, and anticipated outcomes. Have a faculty advisor or grad student in your field review this proposal, especially the specifics, because the form and content are highly discipline specific. For creative projects, you should demonstrate sophisticated knowledge of the artistic field and any contributions that you will produce, such as publication, performance, or exhibit. So one example is our Strauss Scholarship. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the Arroyo Vista Garden was partially funded by a Strauss recipient whose project was the garden itself. Many of the same principles apply to grad study proposals, including offering a plan that is detailed and as specific as possible. Describe how you'll narrow your focus to a particular subfield and work closely with an appropriate faculty advisor with similar interests. You want scholarship review committees to know that you've done your research into these graduate programs and your own proposal. and that you know why this particular program is the best fit for your future. It should be obvious that service project proposals necessitate articulating a specific plan to carry out work for the benefit of a particular community, but all scholarship funding agencies expect you to articulate the value of your work for society. Your proposal should inspire their full confidence that their investment in you and your work will benefit the world. And if you don't have a parent organization or faculty member to advise your project, you can create your own organization if needed. Okay, next is personal statements, which is my personal favorite to read, because this is where students, just like with college applications, get into their story and why they do what they want to do. So it's an integral part of many applications and your best opportunity to distinguish yourself from all the other scholarship applicants. These awards are designed to honor students who have a strong interest and background in their subject matter. Your statement must demonstrate this expertise, including concrete examples or anecdotes. You should be able to tie together what you have already done with what you are proposing to do to create a connected narrative. And procrastination is your greatest enemy. So you should start early and brainstorm ideas with your friends. Show your drafts to a faculty advisor, the SOP staff, graduate students, other mentors, anyone really, to implement their advice in your revisions. And even if you're like a freshman right now who is not going to apply yet, but is thinking about these scholarships in the future, just think about potential topics like in your daily life that come up, recurring themes that you may want to mold your personal statement around and tie that to your own passions and interests. So that by the time you actually sit down to start writing the application, it'll be a lot easier for you. And you can make an appointment to view past winning applications for inspiration. So once you are done with the SOP-PREP course and you've met with our scholarship advisors to choose the right scholarship for you, you will be added, or you will enroll in another Canvas space for that specific scholarship and the assignments like personal statements, proposals, CVs for that scholarship. And that is when you will be meeting with a primary advisor in our office, and they will show you past winning apps. So personal statements of previous recipients that can inspire your writing. All of the winner case studies you saw started as students just like you. Many of them attended this workshop and learned important tips on how to become a strong candidate. And I know it's intimidating to see all those case studies and think, oh, you may not be anywhere near where those people are in terms of accomplishments, but they started somewhere just like you. So you're in the right direction. And now that you know about the awards and the application process, you should be thinking about what you can do to position yourself to be a strong candidate. Each award has different characteristics that they're looking for. Some emphasize community service or study abroad, while others don't. But in general, you can check off many of these criteria on this slide. And if you can, you will be in good shape for any award. Common challenges include not knowing professors well enough to ask for a strong letter of recommendation, insufficient leadership or service experiences, or an uncompetitive GPA. A competitive applicant will look different across all disciplines and career goal interests. Performing research, pursuing internships, and volunteering does demonstrate your leadership commitment and your intended graduate study/career trajectory. Seek out good mentors, so professors, staff, or accomplished upperclassmen who can provide guidance on opportunities in your field. And they might even be invited to attend your endorsement interview if that's required for your scholarship. And they can give good feedback and basically hype you up in the interview for the scholarship. Leadership is a vital component, in case you haven't noticed, and the way you choose to demonstrate it will vary based on your personal preferences, personality, and style. But a common theme in developing leadership includes starting small and building your skills through hands-on experience over several quarters or years. SOP also facilitates the Pi Beta Kappa Honor Society. PBK Society is the oldest, most prestigious academic honor society in the United States, and I'll go over it in the next two slides. But first, We are hiring at SOP. So as we wrap up this presentation, I want to let you all know about these two opportunities, open positions, student advisor and the marketing intern. I am a student advisor, as I mentioned, but apps are due tomorrow at noon, as all SOP deadlines will always be at noon. You can find our jobs listed on the Career Center's Handshake website, but make sure, this is very important, to not submit an application through there. You can find the link that leads you to the Triple E Scout form, which is where we will be reading all applications. So if you submit it through Handshake, I'm sorry, but we will not read it. And if you have any questions about these positions, I'll look at the chat, so you can put your questions in there at the end of this meeting, or you can shoot us an email or send me an email, anyone, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Now, Pi Beta Kappa has noteworthy members, including 17 US presidents, 40 Supreme Court justices, and more than 140 Nobel laureates. PBK provides exclusive networking opportunities and lifetime membership. You can't apply, but you have to be invited to join. Most people are invited in spring quarter as graduating seniors, but there are very few accomplished juniors who are invited. We highly encourage students to join if they're invited, and there's a lifetime membership fee that's usually covered, and PBA scholarships are available as well. So even if you're not in PBK, I know that the society recently offered a key into public service scholarship that you may have received emails about, and those things you can apply to whether you're a PBK member or not. And finally, if you have any questions, please refer to our website or contact our office at the email above. We'd be happy to answer any questions about what I have gone over in terms of scholarships, hiring, PBK, anything. And with that, I want to thank you for attending this workshop and sticking it out with me until the end. Have a great day, everyone. And again, if you have questions, I'll be looking at the chat now. So I will answer those for you. Yes. Can you drop the website link? There is the link to our SOP website. Hi, Eileen, where can I find the recorded presentation? All of our workshop presentations will be uploaded onto our website within the next few weeks. So we have to wait until all the recordings are up, but not today for sure. Just keep your eye out for those presentations on our website. So yeah, how it won't be emailed out. You're welcome. Where is the Canvas course you mentioned earlier? So if you're interested in doing SOP-PREP, which by the way is required if you want to schedule an advising appointment with a student advisor, you must finish SOP-PREP. But the truth is, if you have any questions regarding like where to start, we'd still be happy to answer questions whether you finished it or not. I personally will be down to hold an advising appointment with you if you are lost about where to start. So let me find that. The Canvas course space is also on our website, but let me find the direct link. So there's a page all about SOP-PREP and the link to enroll. Will we still be able to do one-on-ones with SOP office after graduating? Yes, Jessica. So if you have graduated within the last 4 quarters, so 1 year of 1 year after graduation, then you can still meet with our office and receive advising for a scholarship that you want. Do you mind giving us your email to contact you? Sure. I will give both my email and the SOP office email. So there's our office. And then here's my personal UCI email. Are there scholarships available for current freshmen? Shaylin, our scholarships are only for sophomores to recent graduates, but it is highly recommended that you start, tuning your resume and all your leadership experiences to fit like a scholarship that you may want ahead of time. So you're ahead of the game for even being here. But for example, the scholarships will open next year, so very soon. And if you want like an undergraduate scholarship to fund a public service scholarship like Strauss maybe, then you should start thinking about what that project proposal will be. Is there a deadline to finish the SOP-PREP course? You must finish, I believe, by April 6th, if I'm correct. But because the pre-application deadline is April 12th for the Trailblazers 10 cycle, which is this spring. If you're not interested, you're like a freshman and you're not going to be applying, then you have a bunch of time in the world to do SOP-PREP. And once you've done it once, you don't have to do it again. Let's say if you like reapply the following year to a scholarship. You're welcome. Can we complete it during the summer? So again, this would depend on when you want to apply to scholarships. If you are going to be applying next year, then yeah, you can wait. You don't have to do it right now. And Perla, is Perla here? Yeah, she is. You can send me your form that you need signed. My email is in the chat. As a junior that hasn't been that involved in research or community service so far, but looking to go to graduate school and get more involved in research, should I do SOP-PREP? You should do SOP-PREP if you are going to apply to one of the 21 scholarships that I mentioned through our office. So SOP-PREP is not like a research experience. It's a very short Canvas introductory course that takes about 4 hours total, maybe, depending on anyone. So to answer your question, oh, I see. Okay, so it depends on the scholarship you're applying to. If you are applying to a graduate program that is a research program, then you should have at least 1 year of research experience. And so you should consult the UROP office in order to get that experience and then apply and do SOP-PREP. But there's a timeline too. So if you're a junior, someone just entered the waiting room. So if you're a junior, you would want to get on that quickly because depending on when you graduate, like maybe next year or in 2 years, then you would be going off to your program if you win a scholarship. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. How to know whether we are invited. So I'm assuming that you're referring to PBK, the Honor Society, which is not under our office. We work with them, and a lot of our staff members work for both offices, but we are not in charge of the invitations. So you will be notified in your junior or senior year. Very few juniors are invited to be a PBK member, but yeah, just be on the lookout for an email from PBK. Oh, okay. You don't need to be invited to apply to a scholarship. If you see a scholarship that you like, then feel free to apply to it. And you technically don't need to go through our office either, but it's obviously, as you saw in the testimonials, very helpful because we guide you through every step of the process, and sometimes we endorse you for it, which also boosts your application. Yeah, so you can apply on your own or with us, but you don't need to wait for an invitation. Just look at the link that I sent to our website for all the information. Yeah, the invitation was probably about the PBK. You don't need to be invited to do a scholarship. Sometimes our office will send out emails like inviting you to workshops, or if we see that you meet the GPA requirement and the class level requirement for a certain scholarship, we might send you an email, but you don't need to be invited. You do need to meet the eligibility requirements that are all listed on our website. So if you see a specific scholarship and it says that you have to have graduated by summer 2022 to apply, and you're going to apply after, you're going to graduate after that, then obviously you can't apply to the scholarship. But I hope that answers everything. If you You're welcome. If you think of any other questions after this meeting ends, feel free to email me or scholarship or book an appointment with our office. Okay, I think I answered all of the questions. And with that, I'm going to end this meeting. But thank you, everyone, for attending. You guys stayed to the very end. But good luck in week 7. Bye.